What's going on, everybody? My name is Monatui, coach of the Tampa Bay Luxrays, and today I'm bringing you guys our GBA Week 11 match versus Tom Z, coach of the San Jose Sharpedos, our rematch. We played him earlier on in the season. If you've not already done so, please check out his channel in the description below. So, a little bit of background information on this game. Because we lost last week, and I forget who else won or whatever. I forget if, Lars... I believe John... Did John win? I forget if John won or if John lost. I believe John won, Lars also maybe won? Maybe lost? I forget. That's not super important. What is important is we are currently 4 out of 4 for our playoff spot. We are the 4th spot in our conference. Lars and John are both right behind me. If I lose this game and then either of them win a game, then I believe they both take my spot, or one of them takes my spot, because my differential is not great. Theirs is, I believe, a little bit better. Anyway, even if that's not 100% true, if I win by a small, or if I lose by a small amount and then they don't win by enough, then I might still be ahead of them. But regardless, I'm gonna play this game like I absolutely have to win it, because that's more than likely true. Because if I lose this one, then I have to beat George, and then that's gonna be a lot of fun considering how we did against him last time. But regardless, we're really looking to get a win out of this. Tom's playoff chances are not currently alive. He has no chance to make them, but I'm sure he would be more than happy to play spoiler and ruin my chances of making the playoffs. So there's that. So without further ado, let's get into Tom's roster. It is a lot different from the last time we played him, so pay attention to the changes. His team will be popping up now. The team that Tom has is Sylveon, Starmie, Cobalion, Melodic, Arcanine, Jellicent, Salk, Mega Aerodactyl, Tyrantrum, Xatu, and Gligar. So he has Melodic now. That is definitely a big threat. He's got Salk, Tyrantrum, and Gligar, which are all new. No more Mamoswine. No more... What did he have? I forget what else he had that he had in place of Tyrantrum, and I forget what he had instead of Salk. But regardless, he has a new team. I think these changes are a little bit more beneficial to me, just because I think my team matches up a little bit better now than it did then. Granted, it didn't match up terribly then, but I'm bringing a relatively similar team this week as we did the last time we played Tom, but there are definitely some changes that I'll go over when we get to them. So without further ado, let's get into the team of 6 that we are bringing. You'll see the similarities, and then you'll see the differences, and then I'll go over some of the differences as well. So let us now go into the team builder. We're starting off with our Azumarill. Last time versus Tom, I brought a sub-belly drum Azumarill, meant to set up on things like Jellicent and things like that. But now that he has Melodic, I'm pretty confident he's going to be bringing something like Haze, so that even if I do get up a belly drum, he'll be able to haze that away and get rid of all my boosts, and then it'll just be a waste. So instead of going with belly drum, we are instead going with Pixie Plate. Now, Pixie Plate is important because it allows me to 2-KO a fully physically defensive Melodic. If I did not have Pixie Plate, or if I did not have a Choice Band or something like that, I wouldn't be able to. So I was thinking about going with AV or Lumberry or something like that to deal with Skull Burns from one of his 2 water types, but there's no point. Pixie Plate it is, just to get Play Rough that extra power, able to 2-KO Melodic, like I said. Waterfall is primarily for something like the Gligar, just to hit that with a Stab Water move. It also hits Cobalion neutrally. Water is relatively good for his team, hits the Arcanine, hits the Mega Aerodactyl. It's just a good neutral move for his team. His only resistances are Starmie, which doesn't really beat me 1v1 unless I'm weakened and he has Thunderbolt or something like that. He has an immunity in Jellicent, but I have knockoff for that, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. So whatever I don't want to hit with a Play Rough, I can just hit with a Waterfall. So simple as that. We also have knockoff just because it's knockoff. It hits the Jellicent, it hits the Xatu, can get rid of Gligar's Eviolite, even though I did beat it 1v1, or I can beat it 1v1 with this thing. So yeah, that is our moveset. Oh, and of course Aqua Jet just for priority, pick off any weakened things, pick off Mega Aerodactyl after Stealth Rock. So yeah, this is our Azumarill. Adamant, very little speed. I was going to put in enough speed to outspeed an uninvested Jellicent, but Tom brought a speedy-ish Jellicent last time to outspeed it, and I'm not sure how much I would have to put into speed creep, whatever he's going to put in his. And he has Melodic, which I think he's going to bring over Jellicent anyway, so there's really no point, because I'd have to be nearly max speed Adamant in order to outspeed it, or Jolly with just a lot of speed anyway, so I'm not going to bother with that. We're just going with this much speed. A lot of bulk can take hits better from things like the Xatu, the Sylveon, the Starmie, so I'm totally fine with this much bulk and very little speed anyway, because he doesn't have a great switch into this, and I'm very happy for that. So with the Azumarill out of the way, let us now move on to the next mon on our team, our Mega Manectric. Pretty much the same thing as last time. Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Flamethrower, Hidden Power, Ice. Like I said, pretty much the same thing as last time. I maybe had a different Hidden Power last time, I forget. But either way, we have Ice this time to hit the Gligar as well as the Tyrantrum, which is very nice. Also, of course, it's the Mega Aerodactyl, but I stab Electric move for that, so I don't have to worry about it. HP Ice is an easy 2-KO on Tyrantrum and is an easy 2-KO on any form of Gligar, so that's really nice. Flamethrower just to hit the Cobalion as hard as possible, and that's pretty much it. Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Electric. Ice coverage is very good for his team. Like I said, he actually has 3 water types. He has Cobalion, which is weak to Flamethrower, doesn't really deal with me 1v1. I can Volt Switch out versus the Arcanine. I can deal with the Melodic, the Jellicent. I outspeed Sawk and hit that with a Thunderbolt or Volt Switch, and I get the Intimidate off onto it. Mega Aerodactyl after the Intimidate cannot OHKO me with anything, which is really nice. And I even outspeed a +1 Tyrantrum, meaning if he is a Jolly Scarf Tyrantrum, I will be able to outspeed it with this investment, or if he gets up a Dragon Dance or something like that, I'll be able to outspeed it, which is really nice. Which is really good, because I don't have great switch into Tyrantrum. I do have my Bronzong, but we'll get into that when we get there. So yeah, this is our Mega Manectric. I'm hoping it puts in a lot of work onto his team, just like it kind of did last time we played Tom. It didn't get too many kills if I remember properly, but it definitely was a big annoyance to him and pressured him heavily. So that is our Mega Manectric. Moving on, we have the one different Mon that we are bringing this time that we did not have last time. Last time I had Mandibuzz in this slot. This time we are bringing Garchomp. We are running a Sub-Stalic Garchomp, very similar to what we brought against George, except we had Stone Edge over Dragon Claw. We are running Jolly with enough speed to outspeed essentially his entire team after the Stalic Berry boost. Like, unless he brings Scarf's Army again, which I'm not really expecting, or like unless he brings... Yeah, no, it actually just has to be a Scarf's Army. After the Stalic boost, I outspeed everything bar a Scarf's Army, and I don't think he's going to bring that again. I think, even though it kind of helped him a little bit in the first game, I was expecting it when he brought it out, and it was difficult to lock himself into a water move when I have this, difficult to lock him into an ice move when I have this, difficult to lock into a psychic move when I have this, so it's difficult for him to pick like what move to go for, because I can just pivot around my team, so I don't think he's going to want to be choice locked this time. And regardless, I can outspeed Starmie after the Stalic Berry boost. Sub SD is really nice because if his Gligar does not have Earthquake, he will not be able to break my sub, which is really nice, and I set up all over that. I know obviously Sylveon has Hyper Voice and can hit behind that, but it still doesn't necessarily want to switch in on an Earthquake, and I do deal with Sylveon relatively well with my 2 Fairy Resists in Bronzong and Amoonguss. Can possibly set up on the Arcanine if it does not have something like HP Ice. It's not going to be able to break my sub unless it's running like offensive close combat, which even then it's lowering its defenses and I can force that thing out. I can live any hit from the Mega Aerodactyl, even like an Ice Fang, which is really nice. So Ice Fang actually just brings me right down to my Stalic Berry, so I could possibly take advantage of that. So yeah, this thing forces out a decent number of switches. If its Tyrantrum's not Scarfed, I force that thing out. I force a good number of things out. Cobalion, so I can set up a sub on their switch outs, start setting up SDs depending on what they go into, and then just Quake Edge hits the majority of his team. And by the majority, I mean pretty much all of it. Like, it hits Sylveon, Starmie, Cobalion, Melodic, Arcanine, Jellicent, Sawk, Mega Aerodactyl, Tyrantrum, Xatu, and Gligar, all neutrally or super effectively, which is really nice, because that +2, I knock out the vast majority of his team, and if I get that speed boost and the right things are whittled, I'll be able to just straight sweep through his team. So that is our Garchomp, Sub-Stalic, speedy, little bit of HP, max attack, very nice Mon versus his team. So with that being said, let us now move on to Amoonguss. Once again, not a lot to go over on this one because I did bring it last time versus Tom. Physically defensive, Black Sludge, Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, Hidden Power Fire, and Spore. This is one of my pivots to Starmie if it's locked into a water move. This also deals with the Sylveon very well. I take 2 of anything, bar like Specs Psyshock, and even then I take it relatively well. Maybe not Specs Hidden Power Fire, but even then, like, I have Fire Switch-ins on my team. Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, Hidden Power Fire hit pretty much its whole team. Once again, Hidden Power Fire is so I can hit the Cobalion and prevent that thing from setting up all over me. Like, if he's SD, Zen Headbutt or something, I can take a +2 Zen Headbutt and hit it with 2 Hidden Power Fires, deal with it like that, which is nice. If it's like Rock Polish or something, I do have Garchomp, which can live any one hit. I have Manectric that can get an Intimidate off it and deal nice damage to it, which is nice. And then Spore. Spore is really nice just because he doesn't really have an immunity. Well, he does have the Xatu, which can bounce it back, but I can click Sludge Bomb versus that thing. If I predict it to come in, I can click Sludge Bomb, possibly get a Poison. And I do have decent checks to the Xatu anyway, and like Bronze Long, I have Stone Edge on Garchomp, and I have the Mega Manectric, which is nice. So this is Amoonguss, like I said, not a lot to go over. Same set as last time, Black Sludge, keep passive recovery. Was thinking about putting a Pyapa Berry on this, because without Mandibuzz, I'm a little bit weaker to Snarmy, which is a very big threat to my team. But with Scarfed PZ, with Substalic, you can live a hit, Thunderbolt knocks it out, and then Bronzong can live any hit. I feel like I'll be okay without Mandibuzz this game. Like, I feel like even though I can't switch it into a Great, I check it offensively relatively well, and I can pivot around it and predict what moves he's going to go for. So that is our Amoonguss. Moving on now, we are going to go into, I spoiled it a second ago, we have our Scarfed Porygon Z. Once again, same exact set as last time. Well, actually a little bit different. Tri-Attack, Hyper Beam, Thunderbolt, and Ice Beam. Not going to go with Hidden Power Fire, even though I want to hit the Cobalion. That's okay. Like I said, I deal with Cobalion okay. It doesn't really set up on much, and if it's like Magnet Rise SD, then okay, good, but then I Revenge Kill it with my Manectric anyway, so there's no point in that. If it's like Double Dance, then I do have Earthquake on this thing to weaken it. It can't knock me out at +2, and it'll be taking close combat. Defense drops, so there's that. And I wanted Ice Beam because with the addition of Gligar and Tyrantrum, I wanted ways to hit that super effectively. Thunderbolt also is just to hit something like the Melodic a little bit harder. Melodic is very bulky, can take 2 Tri-Attacks, can even possibly take 2 Thunderbolts, but Thunderbolt does hit it a little bit harder, and I want to be able to get as close to a 2-hit KO as possible, and after Rocks I will be able to 2-hit KO guaranteed. If he's fully physically defensive, I'll be able to 2-hit KO it anyway. But regardless, T-Bolt is there just to hit that harder, and then Hyper Beam just because in case I need to absolutely nuke something and I'm in a bad spot, just click Hyper Beam, get rid of something, and move on with my life. So there's our Porygon Z. Could probably fit HP Fire here instead of Hyper Beam, but what kind of man would I be if I did not run Hyper Beam when I could have? So that's our Porygon Z. Like I said, very similar to the last time we played Tom. And then speaking of things that are similar to the last time we played Tom, literally the exact Bronzong set. So Colbur Berry, physically defensive, Gyro Ball, EQ, Toxic Stealth Rock, EQ to hit things like the Cobalion, Gyro Ball to hit things like the Megarodactyl, Tyrantrum, Gyro Ball hits the Xatu relatively hard, Sylveon doesn't deal with me all that great, so this is just a nice mon to have for his team. Toxic, of course, to wear things down because Gyro Ball will not be doing a ton to Sylveon. Toxic also very nice to hit things like Melodic and Jellicent on the switch-in. If he switches into Xatu on this thing, I'm at least immune to the Toxic as he bounces it back onto me, which is really cool. And yeah, not too much else to go over. Colbur Berry is mainly because in case Tyrantrum becomes an issue, like I have Colbur Berry just to deal with like a +1 crunch or like a banded crunch or something like that. Like if it gets, I don't know, if it gets to +2, I can live like a +2 strong jaw crunch and then, you know, move on with my life, which is nice. I think I can live +2. I might be wrong about that, but I think I'm correct on that. No, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that. Bronzong's really bulky. So I can live a +2 crunch with the Colbur Berry. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess if like Gligar has knockoff, or if Mega Aerodactyl's a big one as well. If Mega Aerodactyl comes in and has Crunch, I'll be able to take it with my Bronzong, which is very nice. So yeah, that is the team. Like I said, very similar to the team we brought last time against Tom. If you want to get into my mind a little bit more on the sets that I said were very similar, you can go back to that video. That was week 2 of the GBA, the first game that I actually played in the GBA, which is really cool. But yeah, not too much else to go over. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you're looking forward to the match. Like I said, we really need to win this one. We need to set ourselves ahead and guarantee our playoff spot. So, also, I forget if I mentioned this earlier on. I know I mentioned that I need to win this in order to keep my playoff spot, but if I win this game and Lars and John both lose their games, then I am guaranteed for the playoffs, and the match versus George will not matter. So winning this game can help take a lot of pressure off of me. So thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.